I must say, sir, this is very nice of you.
Nonsense. But you were saying you're apprehensive about your employment. Is that it?
I beg you not to send a letter to the State Department. I apologize, but more than anything else, sir, I want to shake your hand. You're the best.
To what do I owe this tribute?
You beat me. That's it. I got beat, plain and simple.
True.
I know you did it, but, well, you can't win them all, sir.
You're very gracious, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
But let's face it, you never did have much of a case.
No, mostly it was circumstantial, I agree. Even the car being moved.
Moved?
Listen, I don't want to get into the whole thing because even if I could prove it, I couldn't touch you.
No.
It's because of the diplomatic immunity.
You could, but it would be difficult. Won't you have some tea, please?
About the letter to the State Department, sir.
Oh, triviality. Consider it forgotten. But please, you were talking about the car.
Yes, sir. You have the legation staff cars serviced at a gasoline station 3 blocks from here. I checked on that. The mechanic noticed that the car was moved the other night. That's how you were able to get to Canyon Road to meet Habib and kill him.
Did I?
I confirmed that this morning. They changed the oil late in the day, and the mileage was noted. But the next morning, there were 34 additional miles.
Amazing.
So I drove my own car from the gasoline station to the point that Habib had been killed and back to the gasoline station. It measured 34 miles.
Lieutenant, my compliments. Your persistence is simply not to be believed. Picking and scratching until you have finally uncovered the mosaic. Mubarak.
Cheers. It wasn't easy, I gotta hand you that. One thing I don't understand, sir, why did you do it?
Well, the struggle for power within my country is none of your concern, Lieutenant. Your business is murder. And as you said, this is one murder that must remain one of your failures. But do not despair, Lieutenant. Do not despair. You have unraveled the puzzle. Accept it and let it be.
I got the feeling that you wouldn't be so expansive, you wouldn't be so quick to admit all this if you didn't have diplomatic immunity.
Perhaps so, Lieutenant, but the fact is I do have diplomatic immunity.
Quite so, Hassan Salah. Yes, Hassan. You saw the aircraft depart, huh? But it departed without me at the suggestion of my friend, Lieutenant Columbo. A helicopter brought me back here ahead of you. By tomorrow, Salah, you will be in Sawari and subject to Sawarian justice.
You wanted to arrest me earlier, Lieutenant. I hereby renounce my diplomatic immunity. I submit to your arrest.
Well, I would like to, but, it's like you said to the fellow from the State Department, sir, this is an international thing. I don't want to make waves. Maybe justice would be better served back in Sawari. Thank you very much, sir. Nice meeting you.
Likewise, Lieutenant.
This is not justice. This is barbarism, Lieutenant! I beg you.
The trouble, sir, is that you're right that it's all the evidence is circumstantial. It's just bits and pieces. I don't think any of it is going to stand up in court.
A confession. If I signed a confession.
Well, I'm not sure. Your Majesty?
I shall abide by your decision, Lieutenant.
Well, in that case, just signed by the Red X, sir. 3 copies, if you don't mind. You want to read it?
I'm sure I know what it says, Lieutenant. I am your prisoner.
Officer?
Hassan, a word of warning. Should you decide to repudiate your confession, we shall be waiting to welcome you home.
let's get back to Earth.
Good morning, Mr.
I'm a
Brenner.
simple farmer
Good morning, sir.
in the Imperial Valley. It just happens to be 400 miles wide, that's all.
Morning.
My papa,
Morning.
from whom I learned the business, told me years ago when I started out, Salvatore, to be a successful, you gotta know two things. Who buys and who sells your crop, and the weather. Well, we got the water down in our valley. That takes care of the weather. Now
Come
let's
sta?
get
Bene,
serious
grazie.
for a moment. This is important.
Your secretary was kind enough to provide this tape. Of course, I have a warrant for it. You told a lot of lies, sir. Of course, most of them can be explained in your capacity as a spy, but not the big one. Not your whereabouts at the time of the murder. What strikes you about this picture?
The T-33 Silver Star. I see that you visited with me again in my absence.
I have a warrant for that, too, sir.
You have a warrant for everything.
What strikes you about that picture?
I was younger and more beautiful then.
Not that it was taken 15 years ago in Korea. Not the fact that at that time, your hairline is receding.
How stupid of me.
What strikes me, sir, looking at you now, 15 years later, is that you now have a healthy crop of hair.
Luxuriant. I wear a piece, a hairpiece.
That's what I told the art guy down at headquarters. I said, figure this fella to be bald. And working on that assumption, sir, he took an hairbrush and he removed all your hair. This is the same picture.
Removed all of it?
Yes. And then he put on a wig and he added a mustache and a beard and some glasses.
Ah! Steinmetz! Ah, dear old friend, Mr. Steinmetz. That's marvelous. Very clever fellows you've got. It's really wonderful.
I want you to hear the tape.
Yes, I'll hear it. By all means, go ahead. It's terrific.
Pay strict attention to the early part.
Speech for Mr. De Fonte to be delivered before the commodity brokers' luncheon.
Right here. That sound. That sound, sir, is the closing of Venetian blinds. That's the sound.
So I closed the blinds. What's so special about that?
That direction is east.
Please don't give me a lesson in geography.
At 5 minutes past 6, the sun came up. An hour or so later, give or take a few moments, the sun angles into the building in this direction, and it hits right here at your desk. You came in the following morning, sir, to finish your speech. And you sat down. And when you started to dictate, the early morning sun got in your eyes. And you then arose, went to the window, and closed the blinds.
Let me see. I closed the blinds for privacy.
But you're on the 3rd floor, sir.
Yeah.
Why would you require privacy?
Oh, there are other buildings in the neighborhood. Higher buildings.
But they're all office buildings, sir. There's no one in them at night.
But this is an office building. I was in it at night. Why should not other people be in their offices? Why don't you play the tape? Carry on from there. And you will see that, in fact, it had to be night.
Any particular section, sir?
Right on. From there. Now you listen very carefully.
First of all, I'd like to thank the officers of your association for inviting me here. It seems like only yesterday I was crushing the grapes in my father's vineyard. If you don't believe me, I'll show you the bottom of my feet. One foot still has a Cabernet stain, and the
Did
other...
you hear that?
Yes, sir, I heard it.
You heard the chimes?
These guys
did.
with law
Did you
degrees,
count them?
they give you
Yes,
all
sir,
kinds
there
of
are
fancy
11.
titles.
11.
Get a load of the latest.
So it had to be
I'm a
11
president
o'clock
of the
at
defunct
night.
and
It could not have been
Corporation.
11 o'clock in the morning.
How's about
You can
that?
check with my secretary.
Let's get back to it.
No, sir, it couldn't have been at night. Couldn't have been night.
Feel about overproduction, but it's gonna be all right. There's a food shortage all over
It
the
had to
world.
be
There's no
morning, sir.
reason for the price to fall. Look at Southeast Asia. They need our crops more than ever now because of the tragic events there in the past 10 years. This extra demand for our extra supply is gonna make for a proper marriage in the marketplace. And if you're worried about the Chinese, don't be. They may pull out of the Olympics, but not out of the soybeans.
You lost me again, Mr. Columbo.
I did some checking. Newspapers, wire services, TV newsrooms. I checked everywhere. And I ended up calling the Peking News Bureau.
Did you?
And at 6:20 a.m. on the morning of the Defonte speech, 6 hours and 20 minutes past midnight, 7 hours and 20 minutes past the time that you claimed that you were writing this speech. And to the shock of the world, the Chinese pulled out of the Olympics.
Did they?
You couldn't have written that speech the night before. There's no way in the world. It hadn't happened yet.
What made you stay on it? Was it the coat?
Yes, sir, I couldn't figure out why it was removed. You see, I know that a mugger can take a guy's money without taking off his coat. And then it occurred to me that Mr. Henderson was a secret agent. And that secret agents wear guns.
Shoulder holsters.
And that Mr. Henderson
Had what?
was a secret agent.
He was.
And you couldn't afford to have that fact known. So, in order to remove the shoulder holster,
They had to
remove the coat. Why didn't you put it back on again?
No, I was going to. But apart from muggers on the beach, Mr. Columbo, they also have loving couples. And I was interrupted at the scene of the crime.
Would you like to hear something funny?
I'd love to.
Today, the Chinese, they changed their minds.
Did they again?
They're back in the games.
In the games. Mahjong.
Mahjong.
Harry, what's going on?
The lieutenant's got Danny Green up in Jesse's office. Something's about to break on the murder.
Why do you suppose he wants to see me?
He didn't say. I've got work to do.
You're crazy. Santini couldn't have done it.
He killed him, Mr. Green, and I can prove it. I can prove how, and I can prove why. Blackmail.
Blackmail. Come on.
Blackmail. Jesse Jerome knew that Santini was really Stefan Mueller, a former SS guard at the end of World War II. And when Jesse Jerome threatened to expose him, Mueller killed him.
But how? He was in the basement.
I can prove it. When he gets here, I'm going to show you how he did it. There's no sense running, sir. There's no place to run to.
I just heard you talking upstairs in the room with Green.
No, sir, we were never up there. It's an easy illusion to create. All you need is some miniature radio equipment. A receiver, a wireless mic, and a transmitter. You used something like this the other night. You used it when you fooled the waiter into thinking you were still in the basement, when you were performing that pick a number from 1 to 4 trick, when in reality you were upstairs, killing Jesse Jerome.
Bravo. Wrong, but an interesting theory.
More than that. It shows opportunity, and the letter shows motive.
A letter.
A letter addressed to the Department of Immigration and Naturalization that identifies you as a war criminal. Means, opportunity, and motive. It's enough to convict you for first-degree murder.
It's impossible. It's a trick, not a very good one.
A trick? No. That's the letter.
Oh, no, Lieutenant. No, you see, this letter was burned. So much for your letter.
There's the letter. I hope you were watching carefully. That's my best trick. Of course, I don't have your style, but I get pretty good results. You can burn that one, too, if you like. There's plenty more where that came from. Wilson? You made one mistake. You did not look closely enough at that typewriter. If you had, you would have seen that it used a plastic carbon ribbon.
Disposable carbon ribbon, sir.
The kind you don't reuse. And when the key strikes the ribbon, it punches out a letter that is clearly visible on the used ribbon. You can see it. I want you to see for yourself. If you look carefully at this section of the ribbon, you will see that it says, "Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of the party."
I typed that.
Sergeant Wilson typed that. But Jesse Jerome typed something else. And if we unwind the entire U section of the ribbon, we see what Mr. Jerome typed. Department of Immigration and Naturalization, Washington, D.C. Enclosed, find a letter which proves that Santini is in reality an ex-Nazi named Stefan Mueller. I don't think there's any need for me to go any further, is there, sir?
No.
Means, opportunity, motive.
And I thought I'd perform the perfect murder.
Perfect murder, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. There is no such thing as a perfect murder. That's just an illusion. Officer. Thank you. Fine. Commodore's what?
Tisn't.
Commodore's watch.
So what?
Commodore's watch.
Big deal.
Commodore's watch.
Daddy's watch?
Your father's watch, man. Did you give that to him? I noticed it's got the same kind of face as the one you gave your husband.
Yes, I did. Daddy loved a pocket watch. So I mounted it in his own father's gold case.
Yeah, I thought it was something like that. But this watch was broken at 12:42. And your husband left the island at 12:46. That's awfully close. That's not enough time to struggle with the Commodore, then kill him, then talk to Mr. Taylor, then drive over to the guardhouse. No, not in 4 minutes. No, we checked that. Didn't we?
Don't forget, I got to the house after Charles.
Oh, that's an old trick they use in mystery books, Wayne. You think you're going to be seen leaving a place, so you just turn about and pretend you're coming in.
When we found this watch, there were no fingerprints on it.
Oh, I see. But don't you think it's possible that someone might have been able to get hold of it, the watch, I mean, and reset it just to make you think that the Commodore was murdered at 12:42? If so, sir, tell us who.
Well, if it couldn't be Mr. Clay, then it had to be somebody else. Somebody who had been there earlier. Somebody who put the watch ahead. The same person who left so many clues pointing to Mrs. Clay that Mr. Clay thought she committed the crime. Of course, then Mr. Clay, he messed everything up and took the body away.
You answer his question. Who was it?
Well, Mr. Kettenring.
What?
Who do you think would benefit the most by the Commodore's death?
Oh, well, Mr. Swanson, of course. I mean, he's what we call the secondary heir. In fact, he's the only other member of the family, isn't he?
Swanee.
Swanee, that's right, Swanee.
What do you think, Swanee? Now, the only reason a murderer would reset a watch like that would be to provide himself with an alibi. What do you think?
Sure, but,
You're the only one who bothered to do that. You said by a few minutes past 12 you were back at the yacht club singing with the boys.
so what?
Of course, you're the only one who knew exactly where Mrs. Clay went that night. Who could have known how upset she was? Who could have followed them and heard the fight between her and her father? Saw the fight? Who could have gone in there and killed them when she left the room? Who else could have gotten something out of her purse when she was riding in a boat coming back here?
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
When she was drunk and in a stupor. Who else could have done that? Huh?
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Maybe that's when I lost the brooch.
Listen to you. You lost that brooch fighting with your father when you killed him. That's it. It had to be you, Joanna.
Mr. Columbo, excuse me, you think that any one of us might have done this thing? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Yes, sir, I guess I am, except for one thing. You'll notice that none of you have seen this watch closely. You've only heard it. You heard it tick. But I was talking about a watch that was found at the scene of the crime that was broken. It was smashed. It did not tick. It didn't work. The Commodore's watch. Now you see it. And this is the broken inside part. And we took this watch to a jeweler and we had the broken inside part replaced. So now the watch ticks. You all heard it tick. When I went to you you, Mrs. Clay, and I said, the Commodore's watch. You said, Daddy's watch. And when I said to you, Mr. Kettering, the Commodore's watch, what'd you say?
I think I said big deal.
Big deal. When I said to you, Mr. Taylor, the Commodore's watch, you said so.
What?
What? When I said to you, Swanee, the Commodore's watch, he said, "'Tisn't," which means it isn't. No, it is not the Commodore's watch. Because you were the only one who knew that the Commodore's watch was smashed, because you smashed it at the scene of the crime. Just one more thing.